all have innate healing abilities and quantum senses, which knowingly or unknowingly have used. Our special guest tonight will talk to us about this and help us understand in a practical manner how we can use them. Our topic tonight is expanding your healing gifts and quantum senses. Let's welcome our guest speaker tonight, Kierra Audrin. Kierra, you're on.
Thank you, Ron, for the introduction, and thank you so much for, yes, sharing with us that we all very much are deeply connected to our healing senses, natural healing abilities, and what I like to call our quantum senses. So this would be anything that would be psychic in nature, meaning beyond the five senses, our touch, our sense of smell, sight, hearing, so on and so forth.
That's great. Now, can you tell us how long have you been doing this? When did you start? What's your story?
Yes, thank you very much. For everybody connected this evening, first and foremost, I just want to thank you for being here and connecting with this message tonight. And I invite you, as you're listening to me, share in brief a little bit about my story, just for you in your own way to connect with your inner being and the way that maybe our stories or shared experiences might be in alignment. Shortly, in brief, as a child, I could see things, and I was very sensitive. Meaning I was very sensitive to not only other people's emotions, but I could see people who had crossed over, and I didn't know what that was, and I was very afraid, actually. I do have a Judaic Christian background, and so my faith was intact from a very young age. However, the only true healer that I had been influenced by at a young age, and very, more so as a teenager, was Jesus, or Yeshua. I was heavily involved in the Christian church, and at the age of 14, I had an experience at a church camp to where I was at the altar. The preacher had called us all to the front of the altar to like confess our sins or whatever we needed to do to get right with God. And that was a very normal practice for me, because I just wanted to be close to God. And this experience I'm about to share with you was the catalyst for completely changing my life to what I do and how I serve people now professionally to this day, but also how I still communicate with the divine, and hopefully we all can have deep respect and reverence for the great mystery. So I had this intuitive feeling, instead of going to the front of the altar, to pull back away from people. And I tell you, I was sensitive, but I didn't know what these senses were. It was just this, this gut feeling. I don't know if anybody here has ever had that experience, as like having a little nudge inside, right? So real quick, this beam of light literally hits my brow. I'm a kid, so I don't know some of these terminologies, as far as, later we're going to talk about what are called the 7 basic chakras and stuff like that. But this beam of light literally hits my brow, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And all of a sudden, in my brow space, I just start having this very real experience. It lasted for about 13 hours, where I just automatically started speaking in different languages. In some traditions, they call it speaking in tongues. I started interfacing with the divine. I met a celestial being named Enoch and started having access to all these realms. And then I started to see the solar system and cosmos, and started to receive a lot of information about how humanity would evolve and especially from the solar energy. And now today, depending on, of course, what you consume, there's a lot of talk in some communities about the gamma rays, the solar energy shifting our planet. Maybe if we have time, we'll talk about that later. So in this experience, I was very much at peace. Like I said, I was there in this state for about 13 hours. The people around me, they didn't know what was going on. Neither did I. I was a 14-year-old kid. And so I moved through the experience, and it was actually a little traumatizing because no one could answer the questions that I had. All I knew was that what I would identify right now, and I'll say the Holy Spirit field, there was this sense of calm and collectedness within my inner being through this experience. Now, fast forward, the 2 years after this experience, my psychic abilities heightened. I could hear, so clairaudience, the gift of clairaudience, the ability to hear, that was just went through the roof. I went from an intuitive empath to very sensitive, very psychic, and around the age of 16 was when I started noticing that I could palpate energy or feel energy. And the first time I knew that God had blessed me with these innate healing abilities was actually when my father was in the hospital. And he had this big wound on his leg. And I'll never forget this. I was in the hospital. I was just, all I knew was to pray, like, laying on of hands, right? And no formal training, anything like that. And so I'm just my dad's in the hospital, and I'm asking, just for guidance, like, what do I do? And so I put my hands on my dad's leg, and I feel this shock run through my body. And I saw this light run through, again, my crown and then through my hands. And then he started, I'm not kidding, he started rapidly healing. The wound shrunk very quickly. We both looked at each other like, what the heck was that? What was that? And so it perked my curiosity to learn from that connection that was already deeply woven in. So I followed the curiosity. And now today, for the last 16 years, I've been training people in their healing abilities. They're helping them understand that what they sense and feel, it doesn't have to be scary, but that God has blessed us with these gifts to diminish fear, disease, and take us into a deep, respected space, into our heart and our brain coherence to evolve. So that's a little bit of the backstory to what I do today.
Wow. Now, at any point, did you feel scared because nobody could answer the questions that you were looking for, like other people, I mean, or did you just intuitively knew that everything will be okay, that you were okay at that point?
Well, truthfully, a lot of the fear that I experienced was the judgment and projections from other people. I did get excommunicated from the church, and I did get excommunicated from my family after some of these experiences. So the isolation and the abandonment from these experiences did interject fear. But no one can take, in my experience, my very limited experience, nobody can take away your connection. And when you experience something so real like that, and it changes your life, all I knew was now I have a deeper connection with the divine, and no one's going to take that from me. That is what I learned to listen to. And even today, when I'm in session with my students, or if I'm training a group, that is the same voice, if you will, or vibration that leads me today. And so that's what I mean in learning and leaning into that inner state and that relationship. It diminishes fear. But yes, I did experience that.
Did you think, it seems to me like you were a a very mature 14-year-old to be able to understand all of this so rapidly. Do you think, shall you not have been so mature at that time, you will have been able to deal with all of this information, all these feelings, all this energy, emotions, the judgment of other people, being isolated?
Whew, I think because in other stories, right, we're all multifaceted people, and I had to grow up very easily, and so I think the way I'm thankful for the way that I had to grow up very fast in order to be able to isolate my experiences and be very practical. But it did take a good around 4 5 years. I truly had no understanding, and that's why I took the path that I did, was just chasing this curiosity of what did I experience, what is this, why, like, who are there, other people out there like me? Which is maybe why we're all here.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get to the grind of it. And so tell us, what are we going to do tonight? What do you have planned for us?
Yes. So first and foremost, and you are more than welcome to use, excuse me, Ron, the chat box if you would like to type in yes or no. But I would love to spend some time with you here to just run a little bit of energy to your body. Like I mentioned earlier, one of the ways that God gifted me sight was the way that our bodies would be changing interdimensionally for this shift in consciousness. And our bodies are the slowest moving particles, they're matter, more dense. And so when we learn to utilize, again, our natural healing abilities, our capabilities, which is aspects of visualization, calming the breath to calm the nervous system, and truly getting out of the way, we have more access to that divine intelligence literally in our hands. I like to utilize my hands. So if you will join me, please, if it resonates with you, to close your eyes. And let your palms be face up, and you can, if you're lying down or sitting down, you can let the palms rest on the thighs or the low belly. And take a deep inhalation in through the nose. And exhale everything out. Allow the shoulders to drop away from the ears. And soften the brow space, the space between the left and right eye. And 2 more times like that. Take a deep inhalation in through the nose. Exhale everything out while softening the jaw as well as the brow space. Last time like that, inhale. And exhale, let the shoulders fall away from the ears as you soften the palms. Maybe wiggle your fingers a little bit. Keeping the eyes closed. If we take our awareness to the top of the head, this is going to be the location point of what is called your crown chakra. Now, chakra means wheel in Sanskrit, and there are multiple chakra points in the body. But for now, we are going to take our awareness to the crown. Now, if you take your awareness about 3 feet above the crown chakra, you will come in contact in your quantum field or auric field, the location of what is called your soul star. So taking your awareness 3 feet above the crown chakra, your soul star, this is where your multidimensional consciousness begins to come in contact with the soul's vibration. And I'd like for you, if it resonates with you, to visualize your soul as a stream of light or a string of light coming down from the soul star. And on an exhalation, bring your soul's consciousness down into the crown to merge with the crown. And we're going to ask for the subconscious mind and unconscious mind to agree for any codes, transmissions, higher dimensional realities and frequencies to move through our body in accordance with what's best for our soul. Now take your awareness, please, to the left and right armpit section. We're going to ask for the channels in our bodies to open up here and begin to run life force energy down through the left and right armpit, through the elbows into the chakras in the hands. Let the breath be natural as we continue to bring down the highest vibrational frequencies from our soul, known to us and us alone. Bring it down one more time, visualizing that light, your soul codes, down through the crown, through the left and right shoulder, down through the arms, into the chakras in your hand, and allow that energy to build up. So with the inner intelligence of your body, if you'd like to, you can open your eyes and just stay in this state. And this is a very good practice, very fundamental, but the basics are always where we return. You can bring your hands together and maybe play with the energy that you've built up. Now you're solely connected to your soul's frequencies. Keep the breath steady as we're bringing the energy down from the crown chakra, again through the left and right arm into the hands. And one indication that our bodies or our mental, emotional, spiritual consciousness is calling out for more life force or love or awareness is where we hold tension in the body. So the energy that you've built up, if you feel any tension, like a pulled muscle, or like maybe your lower back carries tension in the body, just take this energy, please, that you've built up in the hands and take it to the area of your body where you are calling naturally out for some more life force. Take 3 breaths here. Now, not only are we sending divine intelligence in, but the exact soul frequencies, because we're only working with your soul star, into this area of the body. Now, this is where we're going to move from a little bit of some basic energy running to a little bit more of following how the quantum field wants to speak with you. So I'm going to leave the left side of my hand on my left body, and I'm going to raise my right hand, and you're more than welcome to follow suit. But I would like for you to close your eyes and pretend that your body is showing you colors and shapes, and it's speaking to your hand. So if there was a color or a shape, start to maybe create that in the right hand, building velocity, speed. Let the third eye, the entire system of your being, connect with you through color, vibration, and bring these colors into the hands and move the hands in the way, you don't have to think about it. And then take your finger or 2 fingers and start to point. So for here, point your fingers in the way that your body is teaching you or the quantum field is teaching you. You may feel a different sensation than just running the energy. Okay. I know it might seem a little bit weird, but that's okay. The quantum field has an intelligence of its own. So if there's a color or a few colors that want to move through your hands, just allow that to move. You can think it, feel it. Maybe the hands and fingers spin clockwise or counterclockwise or begin to make shapes. Maybe the hand wants to move a little bit more. We'll spend about 5 more breaths here. This is interaction with the subtle anatomy or the subtle energy fields that very much so give information to the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical consciousness. One more breath, and when you feel finished, just shake out your hands. Open your eyes with me. I know that we're off screen, but open your eyes and breathe through both nostrils and exhale through the mouth. One more time like that. Inhale. Now, as a trainer and somebody who works with the quantum field every day in this manner, I like to exercise these gifts with my own body every single day, especially when we are moving through waves of ascension. Okay, your hands, the chakras in your hands, are very intelligent. And you have the ability to create heat, okay, or yang energy, or cooling energy, which is yin, or combine energies and frequencies in your hands and channel them to your body. Now, this is coming in contact with the molecules, the cellular memory, and like I mentioned earlier, what is called your 7 basic chakra system. The 7 basic chakras, again, are wheels. They are meditation points inside the body, which correspond to your vital organs, your skeletal structure, and actually bring in information into the body. Now, we interacted also with your auric field, okay? Please let me know if it resonates with you, again, in the chat box, if you were able to feel the difference between just running energy to your body and the difference between maybe palpating a little bit with the opposite hand. Would love to hear from you. Also, sometimes, go ahead. Yes.
I know this was definitely a different experience. So we are experienced on doing this, but it felt very nice. I'm sure everybody appreciates it.
Yeah. When we start learning about following the impulses of the unseen realms and live in an intuitively based manner and get comfortable with these aspects of ourselves, we truly can revitalize our life and our bodies. I'd like to share another quick story. After I had given birth to my 3rd child, I lost mobility to walk. I'm supposed to be paralyzed. And I said, nope, that's not happening. What I just shared with you, moving the hands, listening, and feeling, these the most subtle of subtle vibrations in your quantum field is what helped me to literally rewire my nervous system and get my body to talk again. So I encourage you, even if it's like, oh gosh, what is this? What is Kierra teaching here? Or this is so weird and foreign. When you begin to allow yourself to be playful and curious about the energy around you, you begin to, again, create momentum in that relationship. So I invite you to take a little bit, maybe if you feel comfortable at your level of comfort, of course, to practice just bringing energy into your hands, but going from the crown chakra and working with your own soul's vibration, because your soul is trying right now, I believe collectively, and then again, this is just, you know, my philosophy over here, that and maybe it's shared, that we are evolving, and our super consciousness is beyond our bodies. Our mind can have limitations, but we are limitless beings. And our soul has access to omnipresence. And our soul can maybe or maybe not be contained in the body, but as we begin to shift our RNA, our DNA, and access more of our inner being, we are making way in these sacred temples, making room rather. And these sacred temples, our bodies, to be the host of our soul, the host of our super consciousness. And so there are, again, like we said, shared and brief, the 7 basic chakras. There are also your meridians, over 72,000 what are called nadis or channels, systems of thought within systems that we are clearing out and preparing for it. But when we are engaged and take an active role in purifying and preparing our bodies, we have more access to our healing abilities. We are instantly maybe in alignment with the synchronization of our highest path, our highest timeline, and we can evolve and continue to evolve at a rapid rate. But we must practice. And sometimes it can be foreign, but I encourage you to get curious and playful.
Okay. Now, you had previously mentioned light, the use of light, gamma rays, and solar light. How is it that we could integrate that to this, what you just showed us how to do?
Sure. If you close your eyes, your presence is going to come inward. And the gamma rays and photonic energy, what are called neutrinos, are quickly passing through our bodies. Sometimes we can feel it, sometimes we do not. Usually we feel it through the heaviness or the matter or the pain points or the resistance that we have in our bodies. And so I would say step 1, the gamma rays are scientifically proven to shift our DNA in our cells, okay? This has a direct effect on our psyche. So this is your emotions, your thought forms. So 1, be mindful. Be mindful of how you see yourself and your inner being and the highest and best version of you. And then secondary, are we acting or naturally responding to that aspect of us? And if not, okay, because we're all growing, we're all transforming. If not, then we can correct that. Not that we aren't perfect and whole as we are, but we can bring, again, more of that divine intelligence and work with the natural laws of the cosmos and how they're evolving us right now. So instead of working with the soul, we have our astral body, okay? And our astral body, or our etheric double, we technically just work with our etheric double, and our etheric double is the exact blueprint. So if we took away your matter, we have the blueprint of you that overlies your physical body. This is your vehicle that allows you, so when you visualize, for example, that's a form, it's like kind of some of the beginnings of astral travel, okay? So visualizing the sun and his brilliance and moving through your body, allowing the mind, because the mind is going to want to interject. We all have a firewall, okay? The mind is going to want to say, oh no, what is this? We're going to bring the sun in through our third eye and let it flush down through the 7 basic chakra system. So bringing the sun into the crown, the core of the sun through the third eye, the core of the sun into the throat, the core of the sun's rays into the heart, the core of the sun's rays into the diaphragm or the solar plexus area, through the vital organs. Breathe in the sun into the lower abdominal region, the hip area, down through the legs and through the feet. Now, when we specifically connect with the frequency, it's beyond intention. It is, again, a conscious awareness. And the more we practice, we're going to know, okay, I'm connected with the sun, or I'm connected with this healing vibration, or the archangels, or this. But again, we must spend time. So my recommendation is, because the sun is a key player in our evolution right now on this planet, that we utilize the vehicle of our astral body or our etheric double to bring in that awareness and practice. And it'll, again, these senses will grow and build over time.
Is there any best time to do this? Early in the morning and at dawn or sunset?
Sure, thank you, Ron. There's a lot of different schools of thought out there. Okay, so in some traditions, you would rise before the sun arises and face the east, okay, to greet the sun. There are people out there who engage in what is called sun gazing. So very similarly, sunrise and sunset, to capture more of those deep gamma rays and the photonic light through the iris and the eyes. Actually, one of the cleansing practices that I like to do is very similar to what we just did, but is to visualize the sun right here, pull in the sun's light into the third eye, because the sun is always whole and bright and brilliant. We always have access. Okay. And let it like drip down, and you can actually feel it, like your body, the mucous membranes are going to respond. They really will, as a way to clear and cleanse your psychic energy. But truly, I personally, I like to go with the flow, but I do like discipline. So one of my personal practices is I do wake up a little bit before the sun, and I do greet the sun towards the east.
And how long would you like to do that? Is it like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
You know, I think that as each person is growing, we're called in different stages of life in our development of what feels best and good for us. I would say to start, not to be rigid. So just allow yourself to appreciate life every single day and really connect with the sun, because he's cleansing you and he's helping you upgrade. 5 minutes at most. I mean, like minimum, just really be there, or even 5 seconds to start, but really engaging. You're going to feel and that's what we want. When I say feel, we want to engage in this sensation and adopting and learning that a new language. Okay, so it's through sensation rather than thought and emotion, which is essentially tied to a story or a pastime.
Now, stepping away of this, you had mentioned humanity will evolve. How do you think humanity would evolve with time? And are we there yet? Are we in the process, or we're just hopeless right now?
Sure. Ron, if you don't mind, will you repeat the first part of that sentence?
So, as humans, we are evolving day after day, but where are we on that evolution? Are we there yet?
So I'm going to actually channel here in the moment. Okay.
Sure.
That's just how I'm designed. We are in a timeline right now from 2024 to the middle of 2026, where we are essentially capturing the last bit of momentum. So I'm speaking in timelines from 2017, 2018, where we dropped momentum. So we are in an upswing. So humanity and awakened souls who are here to develop and bring in their own inertia, their own love, and their own agendas. Each individual agenda is tied to a collective unification, not only for this planet, but multiple planets that are tied to this planet. And so for the next 2.5 years, we are in an upswing, where we would say a positive momentum. We are not doomed. Okay, I think you said that. We're not doomed. But we can lose inertia in harmonization with one another if we continue to allow ourselves to distort the mind, distort the emotions and the ways that we lock ourselves in. And so if we hold ourselves captive, or we refrain from the way that our spirit wants to move. So if we value more intellect over the way that how life wants to spring through us, then it pauses our ability to truly connect. We have much to accomplish collectively in a very short time, but it looks like, as I'm just here in the moment with you, it looks like the root and the heart space are rapidly harmonizing for more of Mother Earth's intelligence. She's trying to get our attention so that way we evolve. And the evolution is less about the personalized experience, but how to live in harmony as on her, but also with each other. We will experience more decomposition. If we allow fear to overcome our minds, then it will hinder our individual growth. And we have abilities right now, excuse me, as I'm channeling through the vibrations of Venus and Pluto that are also influencing us right now, to really honor and respect the way the natural death cycles of what used to be, so that way we can be renewed again into love, transparency, kindness, and also adding our own individualized value and intelligence into our local and global communities. That's just what's coming through as you asked me in a moment.
Wow, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot to absorb. You're gonna digest this like little by little. Yeah, my next question was related to the same thing, but I guess my next question was going to be, so what is happening in the world nowadays? We have wars, we have conflicts here, conflicts there. It seems like everybody wants to get their way, but whoever we think is right is not necessarily right. There's always we're all confused, it seems. So it seems like we are at that point, like in the biblical times when they were building the Tower of Babel, where they all wanted to be bigger than God, and then God decided to let them speak different languages, no? So they wouldn't understand each other, and they will halt the work right there. So what's happening in the world nowadays?
Mm-hmm. What's happening in the world? This question is going to come, excuse me, the answer in a few different ways. First and foremost, evil has no place here anymore. And because this planet is host to many beings, many schools of thought, many influences, one of these influences on this planet has been very evil and very grotesque, and we all have been influenced by this genetically. So the wars, the power struggles, the ego, chasing status, money, greed, that will essentially probably live out in a value system over the next 10 to 15 years. But that's a short period of time. So we are undoing the slavery codes or the slavery influences. And many of us who move through our spiritual awakenings and we get awakened and we come into, gaining more enlightenment, it's for us to accept more of who and what we are, to counteract that agenda, such as our meeting right now. Not only just having these conversations, but saying, I am willing to take action. I'm willing to utilize my natural skill sets, and maybe if I feel called to gain more knowledge and wisdom, maybe it's developing a business or creating communities, to counteract that said evil or those agendas. So we have polarity on this planet.
Mhm.
So light and darkness, there's always going to be a balancing act. And there's a transference of energy if we are listening to, one, move out of fear, two, have the gumption and respect for ourselves to say, I will not participate in that world, not turn a blind eye, right? But be active, speak, love yourself, truly love your neighbor, and design systems, businesses, and a way of life, hopefully slowly but surely, over the next 10 to 15 years, because that is the timeline that we are working with right now. And it is a very fast timeline. So these spiritual practices are great, they're beneficial for the individual, but we are on a water planet, we must value our natural resources. We must be engaged, we must listen to each other as equals. And over time, if we agree to combine our energy, our life force, our resources, and I'm not speaking necessarily in a utopian manner here, but utilize the systems that we have been gifted, we'll say it like that, we can utilize these systems for our benefit. We are intelligent beings, but we must come together, not to overthrow anything or act hostile, but utilize the systems at hand in a very intelligent way to build the communities and the lifestyle that we so all desperately deserve, so we can leave our loved ones, our children's children, and future generations a better planet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very inspiring, what you have said. Well, at this time, we would like to invite people to maybe post some questions over the chat. For me, I mean, this has been great. It seems like time has just like vanished like this. But this was definitely very, very interesting. I do want to thank you. Thank you for giving us your time and being here with us tonight. You have definitely enlightened our day. So thank you.
Ron, thank you. And thank you also to the other producers and everybody for your time and your willingness to participate and listen. If it's okay, may I acknowledge everybody?
Of course, absolutely.
So I might butcher some names, but Ron, I'd like to acknowledge you and thank you. Oh my goodness, Mariata Torres, thank you. Efrain, Mark, Katia, I can't see CenturyLink down here. Adriana, Javier, and Ernie. Thank you very much for your presence this evening, and everybody who's watching and who will watch this replay.
Very good, very good. Well, Kierra, it's a true pleasure. I hope to have you again, maybe with a different topic related to this, obviously. And well, it will be until then.
Thank you.